Ellie, we've gotten a lot of emails this week, a lot of Facebook comments from people who can relate, either having a loved one that went through hospice care or considering hospice care just down the road a few weeks. So we've got people here from Mount Carmel Hospice and Palliative Care to talk to you, to take your phone calls. If you have any questions tonight about services, options, who qualifies, who pays, those kinds of questions, 821-4444. I can tell you it made a world of difference to me. Here with the medical director, Pratt, here from Mount Carmel Hospice and Palliative Care. And what have you noticed trends in this field over the last few years?
Well, as we talked about earlier, the baby boomers are starting to show up along with many advanced age patients out of extended care facilities. So we're seeing more palliative medicine patients, which is the gateway to getting into hospice.
Right now in hospice, when you think of it, most people do want to go home. They want to be home. They don't want to be in a hospital at the end of their days, and that holds true now, doesn't it?
Still does, yes.
And that's why hospice is so important, because it allows people to do that, in my mother's case and in many others.
Many people wouldn't get home if it wasn't for the hospice services, and I think that's...
In order to qualify for hospice, a medical director like you, though, you have to make that determination that a person is, in fact, terminal.
We have to at least affirm initially that they have a 6-month lifespan or less, but it's not unusual in hospice when we get people comfortable to extend that beyond 6 months.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Dr. Pratt. We appreciate your time here. Again, 821-4444. They'll be here till 6:30 to take your questions about hospice care and services. Ellie?
All right, thanks a lot, Cabot, and thank you for your touching stories. And coming up tonight at 5:45, be sure to stay with us to see part 4 of Cabot's series, Hospice, My Mother's Journey. Today, he gives us an inside look at how hospice care helped with grief counseling after his mother's death.
And don't forget, we are joined tonight by experts from Mount Carmel Hospice and Ohio Health Home Reach Hospice, answering your questions about hospice care in tonight's Call 4. Just give them a call at 821-4444. And in fact, all week, we've been highlighting the services of hospice care through my mother's journey a year ago. My mom died less than 2 weeks after her terminal leukemia diagnosis. This week, we look back at her diagnosis through her trip home to the ravines at Central College, the important Mount Carmel Hospice services, granting her 6 wonderful days surrounded by friends and family right up to those last precious hours of her life. Today, we look at the next step, as I'm joined by others who share a similar grief and find strength in hospice bereavement share circles. In part 4 of Hospice, My Mother's Journey.
Everything was black. The windows were, the sky was. There was no more trips. There was nothing at home. And I'd had some help.
Merle Swain lost the light of his life, wife Deb, to breast cancer last July 10th, just 7 months after a reoccurrence was confirmed. A few weeks later, he made his way here. Tuesday night, Mount Carmel Grief Share with a dozen others who know exactly what he's struggling with. And in the beginning, it is a struggle.
I did notice that when I did try to speak, after about 3-4 weeks, I started talking. Everybody's very attentive to me. They cared.
Group coordinator Renee Ahern keeps the floor open and invites all to relate one thing that was so wonderful about the family member who has passed, including her mother's special delivery whenever the grandkids stopped by.
She always had a $20 bill to slip into their pockets.
The memory that I think of for her is how much she loved cats.
And she played, among other things, the Telemann Unaccompanied Sonata. And I sat in about the 5th pew back and tears rolled down my eyes. I was never so proud.
Some listen more than talk. Those who've been here a while might make a suggestion. Pat made a quilt from her mother's old running event t-shirts.
I used it last night during the power outage to keep me warm. And I just felt very close to Mom. And when it's time, you might want to think about something like that with her special shirts.
The bereavement component of Mount Carmel's hospice program now serves more than 3,000 family members of those lost every year, a program that has seen explosive growth and change of perception. These services are free and open-ended.
The support groups really depend on the individuals, and the facilitators help the individuals decide when it's time to come and when it's time to stop.
After 6 months, you don't say, okay, you've
Nope.
had enough, you need to go.
Nope, it's up for them. They can make that decision.
And in fact, Bob Hockenberry, who lost his wife Carol to ovarian cancer 4 years ago last month.
I'm learning how to live without my right arm. As candidly as I can say it, a lifesaver.
So convinced of this group's value, Bob continues to come and has become a volunteer group discussion leader, mentoring others in early stages of grief to find ways to cope and then make a difference to others who are new to the pain, like Merle, who is beginning to smile again.
I'm starting to see a little bit of blue sky now.
And here now with Lori Yosick, who is again Executive Director for Mount Carmel Hospice and Palliative Care Services. And that really is a booming program, the bereavement services. In fact, you serve more people in that area maybe than any other area within the hospice care services.
We do. It's about 3,000 families each year, and the hospice program serves about 1,400 individuals.
And that's just through Mount Carmel.
That's
now,
just through Mount
you've been getting calls tonight. What kinds of calls primarily?
We've been getting a lot of calls, people thanking you for sharing this story, people who've had similar experiences, and people asking for where the assistance is and if their loved one is eligible for hospice care.
All right, and you're opening the phones to other kinds of questions.
Absolutely. Any questions about other services that Mount Carmel offers or community services that might be available to help?
Okay, very good. 821-4444, and the number to call. They'll be here until 6:30 tonight. And there are multiple organizations dedicated to helping your family understand hospice care and make the decision that's right for your loved one. You've seen the ads for Hospice Care of Central Ohio, the Ohio Council for Home Care and Hospice, as well as the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization. Both offer a wealth of resources that your family will need. You can find links to their websites along with more of my family's story by going to NBC4i.com and search hospice.